Super excited for you to create your very own inspired Among Us character. You have your paints, grab a pencil or a Sharpie. Let's get inspired. Here's a fun one that I created. I love coffee, so I created a Coffee Among Us character. You can choose whatever type of accessories you want to add to your character. Here's one, like I said, that I made. And here's another fun one, and this is just an example of thick, dark lines for your outline. We'll use some black for some shadow. And then I added just some fun little flowers on the perimeter. You'll start with a blank canvas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this painting out with a Sharpie. And I'd love for you to follow along with me. Work at your own pace. The first line that we're going to draw, I like to relate it to like a rainbow. You do one side and then bring the other side down, just like a rainbow. Then draw a line across. We're forming the legs. And then you want to create that space in between the legs. Next step, we're going to create the lighter portion of the body. Almost like an L shape with curves. Now for our backpack. And just like a C, and then place a little line for the top of the flap. Now let's work on the mask or the shield of your character. You can think of it almost like a half circle. I'm going to round my edge out a little bit more there. And then in the center, we're going to just draw in some ovals to serve as reflection marks. Small one in the center, a little bit larger around that, and then you have the shield. Now, what you're going to see here is I decided that I wanted my middle portion between the legs to be a little bit lower. So I'm just going to retrace that in. I'm going to draw a little oval shape under my character to represent shadow. And then I'm going to show you right here, I'm just going to cross this out. You can choose to leave it, or you can cross it out and paint over it or erase it. And I wanted to show you this because you don't want to be afraid of making corrections along the way. I'm going to choose to make my character in shades of blue. I'm going to use my sponge brush and cover up that portion that I corrected. And then I'm going to just use my sponge brush to help me outline and fill in the outer portion of my character. You can choose any color you want for your Among Us character. I gave you several choices of color. Have fun, be creative, use them all. This is your work of art. I cut the light off so you can see the shade of blue that I filled in here. And now we're going to focus on the mask and the backpack and the flap of the backpack. Lights back on. Now for the lighter portion, you want to just add some white to whatever your base color is, unless you choose to use a rainbow design for your character. So I'm adding a little white to my blue, and that's going to allow me to create a lighter blue portion to my Among Us character's costume. Now I'm going to fill in the backpack portion of the costume here. I'm going to use the darker blue on the lower half and the lighter blue, which is the blue just with a little bit of white, to the flat portion. Now we're going to work on the reflection portion of the mask. You can use your bristle brush. I would use a little bit of white and black. And we're going to work with a variation of the shade of gray. And we're going to start with more black than white to create the outer portion of our mask. I've added a little bit of white onto the canvas, and now I'm adding in some black. And I'm going to just play around with the color here. You can decide how dark you want it, but we want to focus on this outer portion being the darkest portion of our mask. And as we lead to the center part, that will be the lightest portion. As you're painting, don't be afraid to add different edits to your painting. For example, you may decide you want your mask to be more round, or you might decide you want it to be all black. Whatever you decide, don't be afraid to add your own personal touches. Now that you have your mask and your body and your book bag complete, let's focus in on this shadow portion of our painting. This is the oval that you placed around the feet of your character. Go ahead and paint that oval in black. All right, we are in the home stretch. We have our character, we have our shadow. Now we're going to focus on the outline of the costume. Use your bristle brush and just begin to outline the exterior of your costume. This is just going to add a little extra pop and just a fun sense of realism to your character. I am super, super proud of you. Congratulations! For a little more inspiration, here are some pictures that I've created. Add your own accessories to your character. Color in your background using some of the colors that you have if you choose, or make some fun designs like I did on this one. This is your opportunity to create whatever type of Among Us character inspired experience you want to create. I'm so proud of you, and thank you so much for allowing me to be your art instructor today. And I hope you had an amazing time. Great job, young artist.